Index Sunday Guardian Roundtable. Well, this week we're going to be discussing the role of the opposition. How has the opposition behaved all through lockdown and also now when it's politics as usual? There has been some criticism of the PM's handling of COVID, of the economy coming back to haunt him. But despite all these issues, despite the migrants' problems, he still remains as the tallest leader. Why hasn't the opposition been able to capitalize on this space? Has it done enough, or has it been too fearful of actually coming out and criticizing during a national crisis? These are some of the questions we'll be looking at on the roundtable today. Joining me is Rashid Kidwai. He is the author of 24 Akbar Road and also a political commentator and columnist. We have Nirmal Pathak. He is the editor of PTI Bhasha. We have Advaita Kala. She is a columnist, author and a commentator. And Radhika Ramaseshan, consulting editor, Business Standard, columnist and a political commentator. Rashid, really, you've been a close observer and especially of opposition politics. Let's begin with the main opposition party, the Congress. How has their handling of COVID been? During this crisis, has Rahul Gandhi, he's been attempting to reinvent himself. He's had all these kind of, he started, in fact, he's giving you and me a run for our money. He started doing interviews. He's playing the role of an anchor. But is he playing the role of an opposition leader? Rashid.
Yeah. First of all, we must understand some basics. See, it's never easy for opposition to play its role, so to say, in a national crisis, be it COVID-19 or ongoing tussle with China, because all the information, resources, infrastructure that is with the government of the day. It is government that executes. The government would tell people what to do, what not to do. Criticism has its own place. There is a whole political legacy of it. The way Vajpayee ji criticized Mr. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru during 1962 conflict and all that. But see, world has changed. Today we are in social media, so the Congress gets a double flag. One is, of course, its own opposition's inherent problems that I have spelled out, and plus onslaught from social media and, for that matter, even mainstream media. So in that, opposition looks very vulnerable, very sometimes ridiculous. All these things are there, but this is something that the BJP's earlier avatar, Jan Sangh, communists, they all have gone through.
Nirmal, your take on opposition's role. Why has Rahul Gandhi, abhi tak he's not been able to come forward?
मैं इससे रशीद से इस मामले में एग्री करता हूँ कि ये कोविड-19 या जो चाइना वाली सिचुएशन है, चाइना के साथ जो कन्फ्रंटेशन है, इसमें अपोजिशन का रोल बहुत कम हो जाता है। कोविड-19 वाले में भी आपने देखा कि सारे उसमें ऑलमोस्ट सभी एनजीओज, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, छोटे दूसरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो और इंडिविजुअल्स भी अपनी तरफ से हर कोई उसमें हेल्प कर रहा था। तो उसमें पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का एज ए पॉलिटिकल पार्टी वो रोल उसका कम हो जाता है। पर कांग्रेस के साथ बेसिक प्रॉब्लम उसका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, जो इस तरह के सिचुएशन में आपको एक लार्ज स्केल पे मदद कर सकता था और कांग्रेस के लोग उसको लोगों के साथ जो विक्टिम्स हैं इसके, उनके साथ अपने को आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते थे। पर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, क्योंकि कांग्रेस का लगभग किसी भी राज्य में आप देखिए तो वो उस तरह से इफेक्टिव बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लिए दो चीज आज की तारीख में उसके पास तीन चीजें कम से कम इम्पोर्टेंट चाहिए।
Advaita, your take on the opposition. How have you seen them handling it?
Rashid and Nirmal, that you have something like a global pandemic stretching all resources and is devastating lives as well as the economy, and attacking on various fronts apart from just on the health front. So there is limited scope for an opposition to really get into an aggressive posture or a stance when it comes to that. That one will agree with. However, I think the Congress has been afflicted by its own unique malaise, especially in 2014, where it got the kind of defeat that it did, and subsequently not been able to rout itself out of this coma of inaction and actually relevant in public discourse. Most recently, you saw Sanjay Jha, who was the national spokesperson of Congress, and he got sacked for suggesting things that to revive the party, revive the structure, to bring in more democracy, inter-party democracy, which I think is essential to the party. CWC should be something that people are elected to. The Congress president should be something that someone is elected to. Now, these are the kind of dramatic and vital that the oldest political party will need to take up if it wants to revitalize itself down from the grassroots up until the very top. Because if people feel you have no stake in the running of the party, then to work in the running towards getting into a place where they can run the government of the country is very difficult. So I think it's a combination of low morale and intimidation, and really a leader like Prime Minister Modi as an opposition figure who dwarfs all other political leaders at this time is something that kind of put them into almost a depression of sorts, I think.
Okay, Radhika, but Adwaita raised the issue of Sanjay Jha, but I think I've saw this maybe on your Facebook timeline. Someone has pointed out that at the end of the day, you cannot, if you criticize your own editor, you still have a job at the end of the day. So did he do something that is so wrong? Did the Congress, is it right that the Congress has, I know they have no patience for criticism, but taking it on the public platform, was that a smart move?
Not really. Priya, I don't quite endorse the way Sanjay Jha went about it. But since we were on COVID, I heard the preceding panelists. I do want to point out that on COVID, Congress-ruled states like Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh have done very well, by today's standards. In fact, the worst reports are coming from states like Gujarat, of course, Maharashtra and Delhi. But I don't think, this is not linked to the health of the organization or the central leadership or anything. It's just that the state governments, with a fair bit of non-cooperation from the center, I don't think the center has exactly cooperated, have done well. So I have to put this on
a good point.
As far as COVID is concerned. Now you're coming to Mr. Sanjay Jha. That is unrelated to COVID, but since a panelist brought it up, I think I should answer it. Every party, you name one party which has brooked a certain amount of indiscipline. Do you remember that incident when Uma Bharti criticized Advani in a closed-door meeting, which was mysteriously leaked to the press and walked out, and she was thrown out of the party. So there are umpteen examples in every party, whether it is the left or the Congress or the Samajwadi Party or the BJP. A party is at the end of the day is an unwieldy kind of an organization, and you need some discipline to bind the whole thing together. And one of the elements of discipline is not speaking out against the leadership or the state of the organization or your immediate boss in public. So Sanjay Jha has been writing pieces. I think it's co-authored with Salman Soz, some of the pieces. He could have taken it up internally, informally. I don't think a CWC had to be called in order to discuss Sanjay Jha's problems. I don't think he's even a member of the CWC. However, he could have taken it up internally, and if it was not addressed, then he could have gone public. I think that is the correct way. That is the accepted way. I'm not saying correct, sorry. That's the accepted way to go about it.
Okay, Rashid, moving away from...
Just thinking about this, we'll move on from Sanjay Jha, but he also mentioned that since 2014, there has been no meeting called of the national spokespersons of the Congress Party at all, which is sort of alarming that, in a time when communication is the new, data and communication is the oil and is the of the narrative, you don't call your faces for even a meeting together. So I think he was really pointing out to the fact that there weren't any forums where someone like him, despite being a national spokesperson, had an opportunity to air any grievances or any kind of suggestions that he might have.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I think his points are valid. The point was that should he have, made it a whole public hue and cry. But I think the points were valid. Nirmal, you're back. Good to see you.
No, राधिका का point जो था ना कि कांग्रेस रूल्ड स्टेट्स में कोविड में उन्होंने अच्छा काम किया है. Yes, we are talking about government-led इनिशिएटिव्स. तो जहां भी सरकार है उन लोगों ने काम किया. जहां विपक्ष में अगर कांग्रेस है तो वहां आप विपक्ष सिर्फ उसके लिए उस पर आप डिपेंड नहीं कर सकते. विपक्ष भी काम कर रहा है और दूसरे एनजीओज वगैरह वो भी काम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि लार्ज स्केल पे कांग्रेस को विपक्ष के तौर पर देख रहे हैं हम. तो उसमें कांग्रेस का बहुत ज्यादा रोल नहीं रह जाता कोविड में. वो
Exactly. Priyanka Gandhi did try to organize a bus. That whole effort was aborted. I mean, maybe they didn't go about it in the right way or whatever. But, that effort was completely aborted by the Uttar Pradesh government. So there was precious little that she could do. The buses were not allowed to cross from Rajasthan into Uttar Pradesh. So in their own ways, the opposition, wherever it is in the opposition, any party, has been doing its little bit. But was rightly pointed out here, as far as pandemic management is concerned, the resources, the management, everything rests with the center and the government of the day in the various state governments. So the opposition really has very little space for maneuverability or to register its point.
But also one point, my takeaway from Radhika's point is also that the state chief ministers, I think Congress has tall leaders. And where they are given the ability to deliver, Rashid, they are delivering, whether it's Amrinder Singh, Ashok Gehlot, or Bhupesh Baghel. But the central leadership, जहाँ पे central leadership का मामला आता है, Congress falters. State stalwarts, regional leaders, that is a strong point. And this COVID crisis is one example of showing how they can actually deliver. Rashid.
Even Narayan-Swamy is delivering.
Yes, sorry, Narayan-Swamy also. Yes, let's not forget. So Rashid, my point about regional leaders versus the weak central leadership.
We must understand the Congress story very carefully. See, since 2014, there's been no major revolt or dissent. It's actually quite a pity and a plain commentary that likes Shehzad Punewala and Sanjay Jha come out and has taken as some kind of rebels or dissidents or so. See, it has to be weighty. I think the failure is not so much on the part of Gandhis, because Gandhis are head of Congress party and there is no threat to them. It is the failure of the middle rung of Congress and lower rung of Congress and other CWC members to come out and demand things, whether it's about CWC or about association or about succession issue, working committee, or Rahul not performing. All these things have to be raised. Now nobody asks questions. The Congress has the whole history. You look at Arjun Singh, the way he fought against Swaraj. He was not successful, but at least an attempt was made. So my appreciation is to the non-Gandhi component of Congress party. I know my friend Navita would like to put blame on Gandhi's doorstep, Sonia and Rahul, but actually and Priyanka. It's actually, according to me, all the way around, because Gandhis are so comfortable within the Congress that they're not answerable to anyone. Forget about outside, but with the Congress. So they are having the best of the world. Why would they try to democratize party or put leadership issue, have some kind of succession plan? Why would they do this? So there is no threat to them.
See, Nirmal, taking from this point, there's no threat to them. So, Rahul has realized he will be the leader. So now he's trying to reinvent himself. Yet another avatar. How do you, how Rahul has handled himself throughout this crisis? Do you think that he's done the right thing? He's saying, I am the one who listens. Saying कि मतलब implication means कि PM बात नहीं करते, सुनते नहीं है. I'm going out. I'm interviewing people. मैं दूसरों की राय ले रहा हूँ. How has this gone down?
देखो, एक तो वो जब से रिजाइन किया है उसने, राहुल गांधी के साथ प्रॉब्लम क्या है, वो कांग्रेस को चलाना भी चाहते हैं और किसी तरह की जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेना चाहते. तो ये दोनों चीजें एक साथ नहीं चल सकती. आपको या तो आप फ्रंट फुट पे आके जिम्मेदारी लीजिए पूरी खाली, और एक ट्वीट करने से कांग्रेस पार्टी को पता नहीं कितनी मजबूती मिल रही है. जो कांग्रेस बेसिक चीजों को, जो फंडामेंटल है किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लिए, उन चीजों पे ध्यान नहीं दे रही है. लेकिन मैं पहले जो कह रहा था, जो नहीं ऑडियो जिसमें नहीं आया, कि किसी भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के लिए आज की तारीख में 3 चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. जब से ये लीडरशिप सेंट्रिक पॉलिटिक्स हो गई है पिछले कुछ सालों में, उसमें एक तो आपके पास लीडर चाहिए, दूसरा आपके पास ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चाहिए, तीसरा आपके पास पॉलिसी चाहिए. कांग्रेस के पास तीनों ही चीजें नहीं है. कांग्रेस के पास लीडरशिप नहीं है, कांग्रेस के पास ऑर्गेनाइजेशन किसी भी स्टेट में नहीं है. 2-4 स्टेट को छोड़ दीजिए आप, वहां भी लीडर हैं इसलिए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, और पॉलिसी प्रोग्राम्स तो कहीं है ही नहीं. आपको किसी यू कैन नॉट काउंटर समथिंग विद नथिंग. अब बीजेपी के पास एक नैरेटिव है, आपको उसको काउंटर करने के लिए आपके पास कुछ है ही नहीं. सिर्फ ट्वीट करने से नहीं होगा ना. जब तक आप कोई प्लान नहीं करेंगे, स्ट्रेटेजी नहीं बनाएंगे. 20 साल पहले मुझे याद है, हरिद्वार में कांग्रेस ने, उत्तर प्रदेश कांग्रेस के रिवाइवल के लिए एक हरिद्वार में कैंप किया था. सलमान खुर्शीद तब पीसीसी प्रेसिडेंट थे. वो मैं अभी डॉक्यूमेंट्स देख रहा था उसके, उस शिविर के. 20 साल पहले और आज के हालात में कोई किसी तरह का कोई चेंज ही नहीं है, न कोई स्ट्रेटजी बनी, न किसी वहाँ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के इलेक्शंस हुए हैं। कांग्रेस में पिछले आप जब से यूपीए बना है 2004 में, जब यूपीए बना है, यूपीए की सरकार बनी, उसके बाद से लेके अभी तक मुश्किल से 12 सीडब्ल्यूसी की मीटिंग हुई होंगी पिछले 15 साल में। तो इसी से आप कांग्रेस की ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल एक्टिविटीज उसके कंपैरिजन में आप बीजेपी को देखिए, हर महीने उनका कोई ना कोई प्रोग्राम आपको वर्कर्स के लिए मिलेगा, जबकि वो सरकार में है। वो चाहें तो इसको अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं कि कोई प्रोग्राम नहीं थे, क्यों उनकी नरेंद्र मोदी की इतनी पॉपुलैरिटी है उसमें वो उनको वो कुछ भी नहीं करें तो भी वो अफोर्ड कर सकते हैं ये सब इस तरह की लेथार्जी। लेकिन फिर भी उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लीडरशिप हर दूसरे तीसरे महीने उनको एक टास्क दे रहा है वर्कर्स को। जहां इलेक्शन स्टेट है, बिहार में उन्होंने 3 महीने पहले से अपना कैंपेन शुरू कर दिया, हर बूथ की मीटिंग उन्होंने कर ली। कांग्रेस में क्या हो रहा है किसी को कुछ पता ही नहीं है।
But Advaita, the larger point is that it's not कि संजय झा ने जो बोला कि और भी लोग बोले, as Nirmal is saying, not even spokesperson, CWC की मीटिंग भी नहीं हुई है. So it's an issue that has to be raised, but why are other people not raising it? I think is the main question. Why is only a Sanjay Jha raising it? There should be second generation leaders who should be raising this also, right, Advaita?
Well, we've seen second generation leaders just leave the party. I mean, like someone like Jyotiraditya Scindia was not anyone you would expect to leave the party. But if you notice, his complaint was pretty similar. He was talking about accessibility. He was talking about not being heard enough, not having an opportunity to put his views across. And, that being one of the bigger problems that, kind of led to his exit. So, there is this space. Rashid said that, it's the Gandhis and criticizing the Gandhis. Not really. Indira Gandhi, and Rashid would know this even better. No, she was Nehru's daughter, but she definitely fought for her space at the top of the party. She outwitted the syndicate. She fought a war that was successful. She, of course, ruined a lot of that legacy with the emergency. But at the end of the day, she did fight off actions to get to the top of her political organization. Now with the Gandhis, it's all looking like a walkover. Nobody is really saying anything. Nobody is challenging them in any way. Is any of the democratic legacy of Congress, the big elections, Patel versus Nehru versus Bose, all of those things seem like they belong to another era, and they do look at it realistically, because the Congress today is functioning like that. And okay, if that's the choice that they want to make and they are a minority, then that's let's at least see them get out there and do something more than that and pledge allegiance to the family and work at their behest. But what is happening here, I think, is a silent rebellion of sorts, where people are really not coming out and doing the kind of work and putting themselves out in the way that you need as an opposition party, because again, I repeat, they don't see any stake in it at all.
Radhika, your take on this the Congress crisis that we've just been discussing so far?
Absolutely. Now when there was this huge exodus of the migrants, okay, Rahul Gandhi went to an underbridge in Delhi and chatted with a few migrants. But that was an opportunity, since we are talking about opposition space. Congress is in the opposition in many, many states from where this kind of exodus was happening. It was an opportunity, a godsend for the Congress to come out and, take up the cause of the migrants and, they address their distress. Instead, we only had the media taking up the issue in their own way. There was nothing on the part of the Congress. And this, I think, as it was rightly pointed out by Nirmal Pathak, I pin it down to the lack of an organization. And why is there no organization? Unless you involve your workers in programs like the BJP did when it was in opposition for 10 years. Let's not forget, the BJP was in the opposition for 10 years. It lost 2 elections since 2004. But, every other day it was giving some programs. Some of them took off, some of them didn't. There were mixed results. But you had somebody going to Jammu, you had someone agitating against price rise, you had somebody agitating against some scam or the other which plagued the UPA government. So, then all this builds to a critical mass, which the Congress has not been able to do at all. Where is it? Yeah, it's not even inching towards that. From a state of activity, it has slipped into complete lethargy. And for this, I think the whole thing is that they wait for the party to come to power in order to exert their limbs. And that is not it. I don't see any sign of the Congress coming back to power at the center, at least, or in a state, in a critical state like Bihar or Uttar Pradesh. But then they can't wait for that golden moment. I mean, they had better start doing something. And then the whole question of leadership, as it was rightly pointed out, Rahul Gandhi, for Rahul Gandhi, it's power without responsibility. For Sonia Gandhi, it's a state of neither here nor there. Priyanka has kind of grounded herself in Uttar Pradesh. So where is the leadership? And the second generation either feels constrained to take up the issues or they quit at a moment of their choosing, like Jyotiraditya Scindia did. So it's a pathetic state of affairs.
Quickly, we are about to end, but just one last verse from everybody on the other opposition leaders. They're not doing very well either, Rashid, to begin with you. We have Bihar elections coming where migrant crisis was handled very badly by the Nitish Kumar government. But Tejasvi Yadav, another contemporary in terms of Rahul's age, has not been able to capitalize on that. Akhilesh Yadav in UP. The opposition, apart from the Congress, is also not doing very well, except maybe DMK and Jagan. I don't even know whether he's opposition or government. He's pretty confused on that one. Rashid.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. Radhika ji very attentively. She is right. She has a point. But you look at that opposition. You see what's happening in Uttar Pradesh. In Bahujan Samaj Party, Mayawati, it starts becoming the B team of BJP. You look at Arvind Kejriwal, who once was just such a thumping and an emphatic way in Delhi, and how is he, dealing with the central government? And it's not just about COVID-19, but politically, the Delhi riots and all kind of things. And you look at everywhere. Look, map of India, every second political party is succumbing to pressure. I don't want to get into this ED, CBI, that kind of network and conspiracy theory and all. But fact of the matter is, and most regional parties have no idea what foreign policy is all about because they have got dealt with it. So China, they all give a blanket support to a government of the day. Now, Congress has been in power. Congress knows foreign policy, is the architect of foreign policy. It is raising question now that is being seen as some kind of seditious activity. So I'm saying the opposition story is quite chaotic simply because there is no unanimity, there is no sense of purpose, among themselves. And mind you, most political parties in India are offshoot of either breakaway Congress parties or anti-Congress. So there is no ideological, meeting ground between Congress and other, political parties. So this is a sum and substance that is giving advantage to Mr. Modi and Deputy Mr. Amit Shah.
Nirmal, your take on the other opposition apart from the Congress?
उसके दो एस्पेक्ट हैं. एक तो अपोजिशन आप सेंट्रल लेवल पे उसको देख रहे हैं अगेंस्ट द यूनियन पार्टी एट द सेंटर बीजेपी, और दूसरा फिर स्टेट वाइज, क्योंकि स्टेट वाइज अलग अलग है. कहीं पर जैसे टीएमसी के सामने कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट है, बिहार में जेडीयू लेड अलायंस के सामने कांग्रेस और आरजेडी है. तो अलग, वो दोनों अलग अलग उसके एस्पेक्ट हैं अपोजिशन के. खराब किया है ऐसा मैं नहीं मानता. बिहार में वो फिर भी एक आप ये देखिए कि जेडीयू से अलग होके, सरकार से अलग होके आरजेडी पिछले 3 साल से अपोजिशन के तौर पर वो एक्टिव है वहां पर, और तेजस्वी यादव उतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है फिर भी, और लालू यादव के शेडो के तौर पे काम करते हुए फिर भी उन्होंने पार्टी को वहां पर एक्टिव रखा है और ठीक ठाक, मुझे लगता है ऐसा बहुत खराब नहीं किया है. अदरवाइज आरजेडी में अभी तक रिवोल्ट वगैरह हो सकता है. अब क्योंकि इलेक्शन नजदीक आ रहे हैं तो अभी भी उसकी चांसेस आप उसको रूल आउट नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन फिर भी कंपैरेटिवली उसने बहुत खराब नहीं किया है बिहार में. ऐसे ही लेकिन वेस्ट बंगाल में तो कांग्रेस और लेफ्ट का कुछ वो ही नहीं है. वहाँ बीजेपी एक मेन अपोजिशन के तौर पर पिछले 5 साल में सामने आ रही है. तो ये डिपेंड करता है, और सारी की सारी कांग्रेस को छोड़ के बाकी सारी रीजनल पार्टीज है. कांग्रेस और बीजेपी को अगर आप छोड़ दें तो वो एक इंडिविजुअल की रीजनल जो बाय वन फैमिली और वन इंडिविजुअल लेड रीजनल पार्टीज आ गए. इन स्टेट्स एक्सेप्ट कांग्रेस एंड बीजेपी। तो वो अलग स्टेट्स में अलग तरह की सर्कमस्टांसेस हैं, लेकिन जब नेशनल लेवल पे बात आती है तो वहां सिर्फ कांग्रेस को एक अपोजिशन के तौर पर आप देख सकते हैं, और कांग्रेस पे सब कुछ डिपेंड करता है। अगर कल की तारीख में बीजेपी को के खिलाफ कोई फ्रंट बनाने की नौबत आती है, या पोस्ट पोल या प्री पोल, तो उसमें कांग्रेस ही मेन पार्टी होगी। तो कांग्रेस का परफॉर्मेंस इसलिए ज्यादा हम उसको स्क्रूटनी करते हैं कांग्रेस की, कि कांग्रेस किस तरह से परफॉर्म कर रही है, और वो अभी तक उस तरह के एक्सपेक्टेशंस के हिसाब से कांग्रेस का परफॉर्मेंस नहीं है।
That I think we all pretty agreeable. Radhika, I'll come to you last. I'll just get Advaita now. So Advaita, quickly.
I just wanted to intervene on Bihar. There was a revolt in the RJD recently. 5 MLCs.
Yeah, MLC is
Raghuvansh Prasad resigned from the post, and he's been one of
Raghuvansh Prasad is still with the RJD.
Founding fathers of the RJD. And the general complaint is that since the pandemic started, since the migrant crisis started, Tejasvi Yadav has been spending more time in Delhi, because I've been speaking to people in their party informally. They are very upset with Lalu's heir apparent, because they think that he has not given the leadership in crisis, which which was expected of him. So his sister is sort of nowhere on the scene. I mean, this is what happens when a family, when a dynasty controls politics. So you are dependent on them, and they are not around to give you the leadership when it is wanted. I'm dwelling on Bihar because there is an election coming up, so
Yes.
by default it may the NDA might just come back. I don't know, elections are also unpredictable, but Tejasvi has failed to give the kind of leadership that the RJD and its allies were looking for. So the result is that today we do not know where Jitan Ram Manjhi will go, or where Mukesh Sahni will go. They are the other sort of unattached kind of parties. So, it's Lalu's absence is being acutely felt, and the anointed heir has just not lived up to the task.
Okay.
तो इलेक्शन आते आते तो पता नहीं किस तरह के कॉम्बिनेशन और वो बनेंगे, पर
But he,
कोविड का, जैसे हमने पहले कहा कि कोविड इज नॉट द पैरामीटर टू असेस
at the moment, Tejasvi is not.
परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ एनी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी,
but at
especially
the moment,
opposition.
I agree. Tejasvi has not shown great leadership, at least
He's not
in the
inspired.
COVID crisis, or
So if you compare him with Lalu Yadav, certainly not.
or even with Nitish Kumar, I would say.
So Nitish Kumar, it's not comparison. Nitish Kumar is chief minister.
But he is going to be contesting him at the end of the day. It's going to be he wants to be the CM face. So then he should show CM-like qualities. That I agree with Radhika. Your last word, Advaita.
I think I agree with Radhika what she said for dynastic control of a party on the regional
I
level
saw you nodding.
to the national level as well. I mean, it's exactly the same scenario. And, the other thing is, the headlines right now are China and COVID. Now, these are both issues wherein, too much of political bickering, this is all about public sentiment and perception, but also go against a political party, whoever is doing it. So I think even for the opposition, they have to tread carefully at this point. And, Rahul Gandhi certainly isn't helping himself, by using, trying to be clever by half on Twitter and saying, surrender Modi. That kind of, contribution to public discourse, and elevating Twitter to be some sort of representation of of being active on the backfires, and it was in every context, and even those who support the Congress took exception to it, because you cannot be at a time of ops wars with China be making this kind of comment and kind of diminishing your country and your leader in a situation where we don't know which way it's going to go at this point of time. So he's got an issue with communication. And I think Congress, unfortunately, is elevating to the status that, maybe it's convenient to stay home and be on Twitter and still feel like you're active, but that's not what real or real politics is about.
Fair enough. On that note, thank you so much, all of you, for coming and taking a look at the opposition. I wanted to cover the entire landscape, but as Nirmal said, any opposition combination without the Congress is no use, and the Congress has to really get its act together. The onus is not just for for its own survival, but also the survival of the country. We need a dominant opposition, whether it is the Congress or when someone else step into that space. Let's wait and watch. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching this show, and we'll see you again same time next.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.